Yeah, that's Aleighcia Scott, and I caught up with her on Wednesday afternoon, live and direct, and yeah, this is what we spoke about, and this is what we discussed. I sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's about 15 minutes, yeah, but do enjoy. And tell you what a lovely, lovely lady, really big lady in the world of reggae music over here and across the world now, and all the rest of it. And now a UK number one hit, which we'll play after the interview. Here we go. Well, good evening to tonight's Random Reggae show, and my special guest on the interview line today, Miss Aleighcia Scott from over there in Cardiff, with a successful number one, which we'll talk about very shortly. Good evening, Aleighcia.
Good evening, hope you're good.
And welcome to the Random Reggae show here at Swindon 105.5.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
It's not a problem, we're blessed and honoured to have you, of course.
Slightly overdue, isn't it, this is?
It is. We've known each other and bumped into each other on a couple of occasions, going back to Midland Road in Bristol on a Troy Ellis, Owen Ellis OD night.
Yeah.
Many moons ago. I think that venue's now shut down, the Plantation.
Yeah, it was a shame. I think it shut down maybe about 2 years ago. I could be wrong, but I think it's around there.
I think you're definitely about right. It probably is about then. And then we bumped into each other at One Love Festival, where we watched you perform and all the rest of it. And we love your vibes, of course, you know.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that. I'm really missing performing right now. As soon as you mentioned festivals, like I would love to be at a festival right now. I'm sure you can imagine too.
I can bet, definitely bet, yeah. Okay, so world of reggae music. Who inspired you initially to get going into the world of reggae music?
My parents really and my family. So I've been brought up on reggae. That's predominantly what I was listening to anyway. So for me, it was just naturally what I listened to and what I'd sing. But at the time when I was younger, when I first started singing as like a teenager, I first started on stage about 7 years old, and then as a teen got like more into it. I think what was only really available to me was kind of R&B, or like where I'd be in the club and people would record grime and hip hop and I'd do like choruses and that kind of stuff. But always predominantly I'd listen to reggae. So as I got a bit older and I started traveling to like London for studio and things like that, about 18, 19, that's when I started doing reggae, because it was more available to me, because it's naturally what I would listen to anyway. So I think it just was a bit of a natural thing.
And a couple of names of inspiration in the world of reggae music who may have led you onto this path?
So there's really so many. I was always listening to Sanchez, obviously Marcia Griffiths. There's literally so many inspirations. And I like lots of different pockets of reggae as well. So I like the Roots, I like the Lovers, there's so much different stuff.
Brilliant. And if you could do a tune tomorrow and feature an artist with you, who might that be?
So that's a really hard question, but it's definitely two people it would come down to. So I love Taurus Riley, I'm like a massive fan, and also Mortimer. I feel like I'm kind of maybe like soulful reggae vibes, and I feel like Mortimer is definitely that too. But I love Taurus Riley, and I've wanted to sing a song with him for absolute years. So yeah, either of the two would make my day.
And I'm sure the way success is coming your way and going your way right now, that's going to happen very, very soon.
Would be nice.
I feel that vibe. Mm-hmm. With the COVID restrictions, and we've all had probably enough of it all right now, and we touched on it briefly just now, how have you, as an artist, coped?
Well, I've had to adapt to like basically everything. So my full-time income and life was performing. So 4 or 5 times a week I was doing live shows and traveling and going to different cities and countries and all that stuff. So that's basically come to a halt. So I've had to kind of figure out, okay, so what do I do without that? So I've been kind of doing like online performances, and I've gone back to like online kind of school and learned more about the industry and different ways of using social media. I've just tried to just do the things I wasn't able to do where I didn't have time to before.
Okay, and I mean, you obviously haven't sat back and let the grass grow under your feet either, have you? So you've kept everything going.
Yeah.
And with obviously current restrictions starting to ease and be lifted, what's Aleighcia Scott got planned for the rest of 2021?
So obviously I just released a new single. I was lucky enough to be able to record from home to send that across the airways to Jamaica to Conks, who did production. So we've got a video that's going to be dropping for that very soon. And for the last 3-4 years, I've been working on an album with Rory Stonelev in Jamaica and London and Wales, just a bit of a mixture. So that's pretty much almost ready to go. We wanted to have released it already, but we did a little pushback because we'd also like to tour and that kind of stuff from the album, so people can really experience the vibes of the album. So we're just kind of waiting for when is the right time, because we're not sure what the world is going to look like for the next few months.
Okay.
But yeah, so the hope is to safely get back into live music whenever possible. So release just lots of music, lots of visuals, bit of everything.
Good.
And go back to Jamaica. I cannot wait to do that.
Well, my next question was just about to be, and where predominantly would you like to take, your big vibes, your big tunes, into what countries?
There's so many I want to go to. I know I've got quite a bit of a fan base in Sweden. I'd love to go there just to share some good vibes. I'd like to do a little bit of an American tour. That would be nice. What's been really nice actually during lockdown is being able to network and speak to people who I haven't been able to get a chance to speak to before, as in people who listen to my stuff and I didn't even realise, different countries. So there's just been so many that I didn't even know that listen to my music. So I definitely there's so many places I'd love to go. Definitely.
And I know wherever you take your vibes, whatever part of the world, you'll be welcomed, blessed, and people will enjoy your vibes. Obviously, a female artist in predominantly what was very, very male-dominated reggae music.
Yeah.
How easy or how tough has that been for you?
I wouldn't say it was easy. I would say I'm blessed that I've heard some horrible stories. But I'm very blessed to have worked with people in the industry who got my back, kind of thing, So luckily, so far, I haven't had some bad experiences like I've heard. But as a woman, I feel like you've definitely got to carry your guards with you everywhere you go. And I feel like even lately, that sometimes you might get a phone call from people trying to maybe do some kind of work, but the way they might speak to you would definitely not be the way I know they would speak to a male,
Yeah.
So it's just being mindful of those kind of things that we shouldn't have to be mindful. So I'm hoping that, as the years have gone by for me, I feel like it's getting better. So I feel like hopefully going forward it would improve. Like I said, I'm lucky for the people I work with, they're amazing. But I love seeing this new wave of female reggae pushing forward. So Aleighcia, Naomi Cowan, Tashai Makeda, Savannah. I am literally loving seeing it. So yeah, the future is female. We love to see it.
And I think you're right. And I think it's I don't have any differential preferences. I mean, male, female, mixed band, whatever. I think, if the reggae vibe's good, then let it flow. Why wouldn't we want females in reggae music? Much the same as we've got males. I think each and every one does their own thing. And more importantly, everyone does their thing really, really well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's just nice to see everyone coming together. And I feel like the new wave of reggae is just really, really powerful at the moment. And I'm loving seeing it both with everybody involved. So that's really, really nice to see as well. People coming together.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that is a great thing, coming together. I think that's what it's exactly doing. I want you a big, big successful tune for you. Number one, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I think we've dropped down a little bit now, but I was happy with anything at all, to be honest with you.
And I mean, in your opinion, what do you think made this tune successful? I mean, I've got an opinion. It's great. But what's your opinion on it?
I'm not quite sure. I just really love the vibes of this song, and we took some time with it. A few people also, I've heard a couple of shows where people have said that this is where I've kind of found my sound. So maybe that's what this is, like really soulful reggae with like a new sound as well. I've heard description similar to that. So maybe it's just a mixture of those kind of things. And yeah, like Kongs is really, really great to work with. I'm literally so thankful. But yeah, so I'm hoping that we can release some more music together. That's hopefully in the pipeline. But yeah, I just really enjoyed doing this song.
Please do, because the lyrics, the vocals, as always, from your good self, brilliant, top notch. The music is great. There's a different angle on it, perhaps. And I'll tell you what, it almost, when I listen to that song, do you know what I think at the end of it? I think this could do a 2 or 3 minute dub version in here as well. We could have.
Yeah, no, I can hear a dub going on. I can.
Yeah, no, please remember Andy V.
Nice.
Andy V's after that dub session. So the extended version, if you do one, absolutely.
Coming to first, don't worry.
Thank you. Can you give a word of advice briefly to anyone that's wanting to start up in the world of reggae music, male or female, of course? But what would your advice be to the up and coming youngsters?
So my number one thing above everything is staying true to yourself. Like over the years, people have said, oh, you should do this or try this. And I've always just wanted to, I'll always listen to feedback, always, and I'll take on board what people say. But over the years, maybe when people wanted to maybe change my sound or that kind of stuff, I knew this is what I wanted to do and I love it. I do try other stuff as well, don't get me wrong, but this is where my heart is. And I just feel like as long as you stay true to yourself, the right people will come around you and they'll stay. It's just important to remember why you're doing this, why you want to, because you love the music so much, and that's got to be the core. And I just feel like naturally with those elements, you just naturally just keep pushing forward.
Great advice for the listeners, absolutely. And as an artist now, with the success of I Want You, and all what you've done previously, including a great cover of Susan Cadogan's tune, how does it feel now when an artist like yourself is hearing people like David Rodican and the big stations pushing your vibes and loving your sound?
I've got to say, it's mad, to be fair. It is, because like literally every day, I get a message from people now. I just heard your song on a radio station in South Africa. I just heard your song on a station in Brazil. I just heard your song in France. I just heard your song on BBC Radio 1 Extra. And I'm like, wow, like it never, ever, ever, like, it's just normal to me. It's always like, whoa, because I just feel like I love what I do. So I'm thankful that people actually want to tune in. So I feel like this is my purpose, but it's just so nice when people recognize this stuff. And a lot of work goes in, not just from me, but from the whole team that put everything together. So it's just nice to get the recognition as well.
Okay. And for the listeners on this side, over here in Swindon, can you explain and tell us what the reggae scene is like in Wales at the moment?
So at the moment, obviously there's not much live shows and that kind of stuff going on. But online, so I've done quite a few live sessions, and if anyone tunes into my live sessions, you'll see there's Welsh flags all over the place. Yeah, so there's a massive scene for reggae in Wales. So I'm hoping that when everything comes back, because I tend to travel quite a few places for shows and that stuff, so I'm hoping that when everything comes out of lockdown, we get to do some more reggae events in Wales. That would be nice.
Okay. And I mean, people that stand back and sometimes naively think that the music industry is luxurious, high earning and all the rest of it, and everyone that's in the music industry leads a life of Riley. What can you tell them that's different to that?
That is not true. That is not true. Okay, so for instance, today, like obviously it depends how big your team is and all that kind of stuff. For me, it's a very small team, so I have to do quite a lot of the drive myself. I have an amazing manager, so we share between us everything to do. So today, for example, I had about 10 minutes to eat this morning, and then I jump on to like lots of different interviews, and in between I've had to take my car to the garage, and then it's really not as glamorous as people might think. But yeah, I do love it, but I will say it's a lot of hard work. What people might see is just like one live show a week. There's so much that goes into even just that live show. So I do the graphics myself and all that kind of stuff. So I got to make sure all that's done. Then you've got to promo the show because nobody knows about the show until you promo the show. There's just so much that goes into everything. But I love it. But yeah, it's definitely not easy. And it's not like overnight you just make £1 million. That's not true at all. You have to put so much work into it.
I know, and you've been working, long, and you've been working hard at it. Has there ever been a point in your career where you thought, do you know what, maybe I'm going to do something different?
Never.
Good answer. I knew that'd come from you. Good answer.
In my whole life, it's been the opposite. Whatever I've done, I've always thought, eventually I'll be doing music. That's what I'm going to do. So like I went to uni and I was working full time and that kind of stuff, but I just knew in my mind, even since like 5 years old, I knew this is what I would be doing. I just needed the time to get there.
Yeah, good, yeah. How can the listeners to the Random Reggae Show follow Aleighcia Scott? What platforms?
So you can find me everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, at Aleighcia Sings, Aleighcia Sings, Facebook.com/Aleighcia Sings, YouTube.com/Aleighcia.
Okay. And the album that you touched on earlier on, when is the likely release date, or are you still working on it, or is it?
Yeah, we're still working on it. We're hoping to give you something this year, but we're going to have lots of visuals and that kind of stuff with it too. So yeah, we've got a lot to give you guys. We just got to wait a little bit longer.
Okay. Well, we're ready to air it for you, absolutely, on the Random Reggae Show. What can we radio DJs and selectors and radio stations? Is there any more we can do, or do you think we're doing enough?
I think I've had amazing support. I'm so thankful for everyone who supports the music, especially like DJs like yourself. I know whenever I've had a new release and I've passed it over, you always champion it. So yeah, like there's nothing I could ask for you guys to do more. I'm just really thankful.
Thank you. And anyone you'd like to thank live on the Random Reggae Show?
So many people, literally my whole team, my family, everyone who tunes into my stuff really, because if nobody supported what I do, I couldn't do it. So I'm just thankful for anyone who even likes something or reads something and thinks, yeah, that's good. Everything.
Okay. Aleighcia Scott, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Random Reggae Show. Long overdue that it is.
Very, very.
Everything happens for a reason, and timing is absolutely right. I know you're extremely busy. I know you've got to move on to other things right now. And I know you've been very busy all day. Please do eat properly as well, not just 10 minutes.
Oh, I will, don't worry. Don't worry.
Hey, that was Andy V catching up with Aleighcia Scott in the middle of the week last week. And I tell you what a humble, genuine, down-to-earth lady she is in the world of reggae music. Absolutely brilliant to interview. Absolutely great. Apologies for the sound. Once all this COVID stuff is all lifted, we'll be back in the studio and doing good sound recordings and all the rest of it. Obviously on Zoom and all the rest. It's great. But I thank Sarah too, her promotions people who linked us up via Zooms for the meeting and the interview that took place. But I tell you what a humble lady. And I tell you what, remember that name, Aleighcia Scott. Aleighcia Scott is big over here in the UK, and she has a voice that's so powerful. Hey, she hit number one a couple of weeks ago. Is the tune.